Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I am going to be looking at a Casual Geographic video. This one is a little bit older. I believe Kit reacted to it when it came out, but I didn't. So I'm going to look at why this might be the most disrespectful job on Earth by one of our favorite channels, Casual Geographic. I don't want to waste too much time, so let us just begin.
So there's a lot of talk about man versus bear. Would you choose the man? Would you choose the bear? How about we talk about that time women chose gorillas? This is Shabani. Shabani is a 27-year-old living in the Hiyashiyama Zoo in Nagoya, Japan, where his face card went viral and caused a direct increase in the number of female visitors. Call him George the way he had these women curious. Last name Clooney, that's the main guy they compared him to. Oh, and if you couldn't tell, Shabani's also a 400+ pound primate with a perpetual pump. Not only that, he's a loyal husband with 2 wives and children. That's a family man being lusted after. Some of the words used to describe him were punky, heartthrob, metrosexual, spornosexual. I didn't even know what that meant.
What is that?
One article even asked, quote, "Would you go for a romp in the jungle with Shabani?"
Huh? No.
Liaison, that's harambe. Had women hot and bothered.
I mean, like, for a gorilla, yeah, sure, he's this attractive gorilla, I suppose, but he's still a gorilla, though. He's still a gorilla, though.
Femme flambe. Call him Susan B. Anthony the way he had women showing up to the poll. Just kidding. Real ones know gorillas ain't packing anything but a room. But yeah, Shabani's looks transcended the laws of nature, and if I had a nickel for every time a woman's feelings towards a gorilla made headlines, I'd have 2 nickels. Which is too many more than I should have.
Yeah, that's definitely
was a frequent visitor at the Die Gaardeblaadorp Zoo in the Netherlands, and her favorite was a silverback named Bakito. Up to 4 times a week, she'd find him, make direct eye contact, and smile. I'm not even gonna explain how much of a gorilla middle finger that is. Keepers tried to warn her, but she didn't listen. Her and Bakito, they had a connection. Oh, they connected all right. One day she smiled again and called him constipated because Bakito was not letting that shit slide. Bakito broke out and would proceed to put the beats on her like Afro music. And he jumped over a water-filled ditch to do it. Gorillas hate water. Keto was fed up. He was escorted back home where he lived well for another 16 years until he passed away in April.
Good. Glad that they didn't, like, take him out, because, like, bitch, whoa, I can't believe she did that. Okay. I feel like it's common knowledge at this point that smiling at a gorilla is a bad idea. Any like, monkeys, chimps, whatever. Smiling at them is bad, it's aggressive.
April of 2023. His get back on his biggest fan / op was immortalized as a word of the year. And the woman, who I originally felt bad for, apparently didn't get hit hard enough. So for y'all.
What did she say?
And the woman, who I originally felt bad for.
I wouldn't have felt bad for her. He's still her favorite, even though she thought that she was gonna die when he bit her. I go to the zoo almost every day with my husband. We're always going to see Bakito. I even have pictures and videos from Berlin when he was only 4 months old. He is and remains my darling, she said from her hospital bed. I mean, I guess that's true love for you, though.
Didn't get hit hard enough. So for y'all that don't know, my first aspiration in life was to be a zookeeper. I even had a state-of-the-art custom virtual simulator to prepare. Yeah, that dream flatlined pretty quick. For reasons. But this video is going to be about probably what my life would look like as a zookeeper. The weird stories, the dirty secrets, and the person would probably know nothing about.
See, I liked animals. Didn't ever really want to be a zookeeper. I almost worked at a zoo as an entertainer, but the thing they wanted me to, like, dress up in a dinosaur costume. So I was like, no, I'm okay, actually.
Like, what is the most dangerous animal in the zoo? Like, actually, the answer just might surprise you.
What? No.
Actually, probably not. Born Free USA has a database where you can look up incidents involving exotic animals in America, and if you search up animal attacks by any species in any state in an AZA accredited zoo, you'll see that the #1 culprit are big cats. Because out of 101 recorded injuries, they caused 46 or 38%. Elephants were second.
I have seen a lot of the compilations of those cats, like, literally just trying to eat babies. Like, there's compilations. They try to attack those babies enough that there are multiple multi-minute long compilations, all like 5 seconds long. Like, oh, it's great.
At just over 17%, but if Bakito proved anything, it's that a lot of them had it coming, which is probably by primates and bronze and brutality at 14%. Reptiles like Komodo dragons and bears like pandas got just over 4% each. 9% were marine attacks by animals like orcas, dolphins, and stingrays, and the remaining 13% were just other. Other being something like a kid falling into a rhino enclosure or a woman climbing into a giraffe pen and nearly getting kicked off the census. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because I thought for sure zebras would be up there, but they weren't even on the list. And I know for a fact at least a couple should. But these are attacks. I want to know what zooby's most likely to put a halo on my head. Well, in the same database, if you looked at every time a person got put on a shirt at a zoo, accredited or not, big cats did it over 40% of the time. With elephants at a hair under 30, and surprisingly, bears barely even scratched at less than 9%. But here's the—
it's just one of those, like, I feel like almost, I'm gonna guess here, gonna make a guess, that 90% of those deaths would have been completely 100% preventable if the person involved wasn't an idiot. You know, I'm going to go for 90% of these deaths are actually Darwin Awards. 10%, maybe, if I'm being a little generous, are things that couldn't be helped. You know, like it was not necessarily the person's fault. Like they maybe were trying to rescue one of the aforementioned Darwin Award recipients, or like the animal just like they caught him on a bad day and the animal reacted unexpectedly, like something like that, where it's like you couldn't have guessed, where the human didn't actually do anything wrong. If I'm generous, 10% of those fatalities are going to be that. Most is going to be human stupidity.
The thing, if you look at non-accredited zoos, the big cat number grows to 47%, with bears and elephants at 16 apiece.
Well, that also makes more sense because non-accredited zoos are more likely to have, like, that's going to be things like the fucking Tiger King or whatever, right? Where it's like, it's places where they just have a lot of big cats, but they're not zoos.
Lastly, in accredited zoos, elephants actually took the lead at 47%. Big cats were the suspect 33% of the time, and bears weren't even on the board. So if you're a zookeeper at a zoo that actually has its stuff together, statistically, if there's any animal that erases you, it's gonna be an elephant. And
oh my god, why is it?
Best believe a big cat might be your downfall. But also remember, if it does happen, it'll probably be your fault or your coworkers. Now, if you work at a zoo long enough, eventually some animal's gonna escape, whether it's a minor inconvenience like a bunch of meerkats or a code red dead to rights and murk on site like a chimpanzee. It's gonna happen, and the best reaction is proaction. So some zoos escaped animal drills, but instead of actual animals, yeah.
Yay!
The zoo will have workers cosplaying as an animal taking a cue from Madagascar and breaking out. Thank God, because I'm not even going to tell you what I thought this was. What the hell? But it's a pretty harmless way to remind everyone what to do when an animal gets out. That being said, this would be a tragic time to not be sober at the zoo. But what animals are most likely to escape?
Depends on what you're not sober on. Like, just drunk? Okay, you'd be like, oh, okay. You would probably be able to figure something out, but like if you got mushrooms or something, any psychedelics, you would be very confused.
A non-professional online opinion, there's two. If you want to test how good a spot is at keeping the animal in, you should probably hire the man of the forest or the orangutan. Fu Manchu was an orang that nearly got an entire staff fired because there was a solid week where they would show up to work and the entire orangutan posse would be posted up outside.
Whoa!
A week was how long it took for them to realize that Fu had snagged a wire, hid it in his mouth most of the day, and used it to pick his enclosure lock when no one was looking.
And I mean that, dang, orangutans using saws, lock picking.
Alan was a hairy Houdini who got out so many times that the zoo had higher.
Look how luscious his hair is. Ah. I wish my hair was that luxurious. It's like I bleached it years ago and it's still like recovering.
Rock climbers to find every possible point of exit because they didn't know how he got out and Ken for sure wasn't about to tell them. And what did he do with all this freedom? Well, when he wasn't wandering the zoo looking at animals like everyone else, he was pelting rocks at another orang named Otis because even a 95% vegetarian can make room for beef.
It kind of looks like this guy's got two extra little faces coming out of his face. A little bit. Look, like it looks like he's got a little, I don't know, facial bumps. It looks like someone's trying to bust out of there.
The other animal's the red panda. Do your homework on how hard it is to keep this red-faced raccoon in. A quick Google search will tell you that a red panda escape has made the news at least once in 1978, 2005, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2012, 2013, and you know what? Probably more. My favorite was red panda Rusty slipping out the Smithsonian and walking the streets of Washington, D.C. completely unbothered. So yeah, if your job's keeping a ninja panda or a Cheeto-flavored gorilla in check, you're gonna have a bad time.
Terrifying.
But some animals are a great time to work with, and it's often not the ones you'd expect. Rhinos are legally blind trauma tanks that'll buck up to a butterfly. In a zoo, it's a 2-ton Labrador with the personality of a lapdog. And they put the zoo in zoomies. Turkey
Aw,
vultures are
cute.
unironically like precocious toddlers that'll follow their favorite keeper around and play games with them. And cheetahs might just be the most people-proof predator of them all. In fact, almost too much for their own good.
So
Cheetahs
cute.
get treated like the doormat of the savannah, and their life doesn't become a cakewalk in captivity. Oftentimes, the overgrown house cat is too anxious to even think about
That's why they
making
have
more
puppies.
cheetahs. So, some cheetahs get emotional support dogs. So the dogs are assigned to the cheetahs as cubs, and the idea is they become a bonded pair, with the cheetah seeing Fido as a role model to mirror and take social cues from.
Yeah.
It's literal emotional support, because if
It's
the
super
introvert cat
cute.
sees that the dog isn't stressed or pressed, it allows them to chill out, or at
Yeah.
least enough to motivate them to multiply without a calculator. And to make it even more wholesome, a lot of zoos like the one in San Diego will use dogs rescued from kill shelters. Definitely one of the top 5 animal friendships.
I've been there. It's a really cool
It's
place.
not even the only one in San
didn't know that,
Diego. This is Zari the zebra,
Hi,
also
Zari.
from the San Diego Zoo, and this is her best friend Sophia. You see, Zari doesn't just live there. She's one of the ambassadors for the zoo, spreading smiles and awareness. But I'm also guessing you can't really have your ambassador around other zebras, because let's just say that might not be the best influence. So in comes Sophia, a miniature Mediterranean donkey and Zari's roommate and best friend. To say they're inseparable would be a massive understatement. And while I can't exactly tell you who's influencing who, just know Zari and Sophia give any cheetah dog duo a run for their money. Now, speaking of role models,
They're so cute. Okay, it was called The Most Disrespected Job on Earth. I kind of thought it was going to be one of his, like, more sarcastic videos, but, like, that's such... It's so far, it's been, like, I mean, it's been a very interesting mix of, like, and heartwarming. Like,
have you seen this video of a panda struggling to break bamboo? Well, that's Mang-er, and he's not struggling. The story goes, he was hand-raised by humans his entire life, and while a 250-pound bear might have no problem snapping sticks, a weaker human will. So apparently years of watching his surrogates get humbled by a bamboo somehow taught him that face is necessary to break. You can even find videos where he breaks it, starts eating, realizes he forgot to struggle just to grimace and continue. Pandas are a lot of things, and apparently Good as Simon Says is one of them. They're also
Cute.
by far the most expensive animal you'll see in a zoo. Any American zoo that wants a panda will have to pay a small annual leasing fee of up to $1 million. $600,000 for every cub born there. Add the millions to build their enclosures and the thousands spent
sense.
feeding them, and the black and white bamboo bear is about 5 times more expensive than second place. And that's
Right.
literally the biggest thing alive with legs. And best believe they know it, you might never meet a more high maintenance mammal. In 2014, the Chengdu research base set up a live stream so viewers could watch expecting mother, these names are killing me, Ai Hin bring another panda into the world. It was then canceled after it was discovered she had faked her pregnancy. Somehow the same animal that got its brain nerfed by nature figured out that if they can play pregnant even after the hormones wear off, they can finesse preferential treatment. And they're not wrong, any future mother pandas are moved to a single with AC, they get round-the-clock care and more fruits and bamboo. Quite frankly, I don't blame the bears for working
sounds
smart.
nice.
But it gets even crazier. Did you know pandas can be bougie? Mei Lun and Mei Hun were 2 pandas born and raised in the Atlanta Zoo, but were sent back to China in 2013. The only problem? They refused to eat any traditional Chinese meals, only American. They were not rocking with the Wawatao. They wanted biscuits and cookies. And pandas aren't even the only ones to pull some stuff like this.
That tracks.
Japan's Akone-en was used to feeding their residents aji, or Japanese horse mackerel. But thanks to inflation, they decided to cut costs by switching to a cheaper alternative.
No, you can't do
Wouldn't you know,
that.
Penguin with king in its name was not
You can't do that, baby. No. You can't get somebody used to like something absolutely fantastic and then switch them out for something awful. Doesn't work that way. I could not come up with any. I thought maybe if I talked long enough, I would come up with an actual analogy, but I couldn't. I was like, you can't switch out caviar for fruity pebbles. It's like it's not the same.
about it eat like a peasant, since them and the otters refuse to substitute. You see, that's the part of zookeeping they don't tell you. All that time spent preparing fish, slaving away while the stench of your profession dents your social life, just for an uppity tuxedo chicken to choose hunger strike. Man, you know they don't get paid enough for that. Literally, the only compromise was mixing the cheap fish with the aji. As you can see, some animals are way more high maintenance than others, but some are too difficult to even exist in zoos. Think about it. Think of all the zoos you've ever been to and try to see if you can come up with any notable absences. Okay, time's up. When's the last time you saw a moose in a zoo? For a lot of y'all, including me, probably never. You've probably seen bison, bears, bobcats, cougars. Y'all know I could speak on wolves.
Trying to remember if I've ever seen a bison in a zoo. Wildebeests? No, I don't think I've seen a bison in a zoo. I've seen polar bears in zoos. I don't know if I've seen many other kinds of bears in zoos. I don't know.
But no moose. Why? Moose have specific diets, they're built like a tank and of course eat like one, and really you can do everything right. They can still pass tense in a few years. And apparently feeding an antler
Dang,
warrior
I
that
didn't
can't
know
even
that.
survive a president's term is a bad investment. So are leopard seals. You'll likely never see the Alp of Happy Feet in a zoo. Narwhals can literally die of social anxiety, so they're out. Tarsiers sometimes seppuku themselves in captivity, so that's a no-go.
Aw.
And they say dietary restrictions are why proboscis monkeys are rare in zoos. I call bullshark. It's definitely because Schnazi might be the most inappropriate animal to take your kids to see. And yes, my head's here for a reason. I'm not about to catch an age restriction over an overexposed lipstick dispenser.
Fair.
Or they could just use fake animals, cause it's not like that hasn't happened before. In 1987, a zoo in China was exposed for painting a sun bear and presenting it as a panda. That's a sun bear, by the way. In 2018,
Yeah. I mean, people did try to, and then, well, some people also sometimes think that sun bears are people in bear suits. So there's that too.
a zoo in Cairo did the same, except they had a donkey and zebra face. 2013, and we're back in China, except this controversy was about their resident African lion. There's a lion. Did y'all even try? But by far, my favorite counterfeit creature story is...
These dogs are advertised as panda dogs. They're just dogs, okay? According to Chinese state media, the zoo confirmed it dyed the dog's fur to look like pandas to fill in the blank of not having actual pandas.
You know, if I took time out of my day and spent my hard-earned money to go see a panda and got this, I'd probably go and spend more. Man, they got pandas from Temu. I can't even be mad.
That's really
Obviously,
cute.
people
It
are
is
usually
cute.
happy to see animals at zoos, but you ever wonder how the animals feel? Well, someone did, and a study from Nottingham Trent and Harper Adams University studied over 250 animals in zoos to see how their behaviors changed around human company. Using hours of observation and research, they found that the animal most excited to see people at zoos, and I really hope this is true, were elephants. Elephants showed the most positive reactions to large groups of people, becoming more active, more playful, and overall seeming to have a better time
Fair.
when humans were around.
It says take with a grain of salt. We're still interpreting, like we're guessing, but like that's really cute. I like that. The idea that elephants like to see people too.
The other people-happy animals included cheetahs, jaguars, penguins, grizzly bears, polar bears, a cow called a batang, servals, and black-tailed prairie dogs.
Really?
On the other side, the animals that seemed to like human company the least were hedgehogs, ostriches, marsupials like kangaroos, ungulates like giraffes and antelopes, and probably most random of all, the tuatara. They have 3 eyes and apparently none of them want to see us.
3?
As for the rest, the vast majority of animals had no reaction.
Yeah, it's like
the study
whatever.
does raise an interesting question, and that's how the pandemic affected zoo animals. Believe it
Okay,
or
I was
not,
wondering what the hell was the. Why are we in COVID times now? Okay.
some animals actually started to miss people. The worldwide panoramic left elephants confused and disappointed. Birds like kias and cockatoos missed the attention. And you even had apes like chimps actively looking for missing visitors. And while the shutdown gave us gems like penguins exploring empty aquariums or a sea lion getting introduced to a tegu,
Yeah, I've
by
seen
far
that
the
too.
best story to come out was what happened in a Japanese aquarium. You see, the eels in Tokyo Sumida Aquarium were used to people, but the pandemonium turned them back people shy, and those same eels would now hide in the sand whenever a worker or someone would walk past. The problem is that made it almost impossible to check up on them and keep them healthy. The solution was the aquarium asked people to FaceTime their eels to refamiliarize them with people, like some exposure therapy. There was a legitimate time where you could have gone on a date with an antisocial eel, and the worldwide Panera brought a lot of bad, but this was definitely a bright spot. But now, zoos are back open, so here's some hacks to get the most out of your experience. Animals are going to be most active on cooler, cloudier days, and they usually peak as soon as the doors open. Also, you're going to want to aim for a random weekday, since the less crowded the better. Try it. If you can be there the next overcast 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, I swear you'll see a different zoo. And if you're a cat person, you might want to wear some Calvin Klein. No, seriously.
That's true. It's like, oh, I forget. Obsession, I think, is what the one that they like. But no, it's been a long time since I've been to the zoo. Sometimes I often end up going to Zoo Lights, which is a very fun event that they do every year. And the Lincoln Park Zoo will, it's like it's a nighttime thing, but they put out all the lights, and it's like a bunch of the animals are actually still out and about and doing their shit. Like, and then you get to see them in the nighttime with like cool lights at like a different time than you'd usually get to see them. It's kind of fun. That's usually the last time I go to the zoo. I think at least the last time I went, the Lincoln Park Zoo I think it was free with a Chicago ID. And like, I mean, people have to pay for parking, but not me. I take the bus. And I went to, actually, you know what? The last time I went to the Zoo was probably, no, it was Zoo Lights. And then the time before that was when I went to the San Diego Zoo, which was a cool zoo.
Honestly, the Klein is a favorite for cats of all kinds, from cheetahs to cougars, from lions to leopards. In fact, researchers have caught wild jaguars on camera by dousing the trap in obsession for men. So next time you're at the zoo and end up in big cat country, go ahead and spritz some of the Klein and see what happens. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video.
Sick.
I imagine I'm gonna get a couple comments disappointing to me for not blasting zoos for 15 minutes.
No.
I can't possibly care about animals if I still go to them. Here's my take.
That's
I've
not
always
true.
said that zoos are capable of a lot of good and a lot of bad, but a lot of them are an invaluable resource for conservation and awareness. And while I agree, there are some species that are just not built for zoos. A majority of them are there because they literally would be worse off in the wild. Przewalski's horse was basically halfway down the grave, but it was the work of zoos that helped bring them back from the brink. Same thing with the California condor, and about a dozen more. And spare thought for zookeepers are overworked, underpaid, usually overqualified, and like I said, the smell isn't just something they leave at the office. Not all zoos are created equal, and it's at best lazy, and at worst almost dangerous to put them all in the same boat. But I'ma stop yapping, drink water, hug your mother, support your local zoo, just make sure it's accredited. Matter of fact, give a zookeeper a hug, who knows how much they need it. And I'ma see y'all
I've seen that video too.
in the next one.
This isn't water, it is a masala chai iced tea. Sometimes he puts another extra little clip later, but he didn't this time. Anyway, that was cute. And again, I thought that this was going to be a little different than it was. But I like that there was sort of a mix of wholesomeness and like, don't be an idiotness. And it ended really sweetly. I enjoyed that a lot. It was really cute. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I love doing this kind of animal stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. Go and check out some of the other videos as well. I'll link like the Lindsay Nicole video. If you like this video, I think you'll enjoy the Lindsay Nicole videos. She's a zoologist she does a lot of other zoo stuff and like, not zoo stuff necessarily, but animal stuff and a lot of history of animal stuff. Go and check out some of my videos that I've done with her. Go and check out her channel in general. Obviously, continue supporting the Casual Geographic stuff as well. We appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video.